Welcome to Uncover the Human, where every conversation revolves around enhancing all the connections in our lives.
Whether that's with our families, co-workers, or even ourselves.
When we can be our authentic selves, magic happens.
This is Cristina Amigoni.
And this is Alex Cullimore.
Let's dive in.
Welcome back to another episode of Uncover the Human. Today we have two very special guests, the two of us. Just it's a host episode.
This is take two, but at least we went from one special guest, which was just me, apparently having been kicked out of being a host without being told I was going to get kicked out. But now we're both kicked out, so we don't really know who's going to show up in the next episode.
Yes. We've
Maybe
removed ourselves as hosts despite being the guests to show up on every episode and do the interviewing. But not like a host.
No. And not like a welcoming message person.
And that's because apparently we are burned out as hosts, which really is my gentle segue into our topic today, burnout.
We may have to define gentle.
Our screaming left turn of a segue into our topic.
Because feeling fired is not a gentle
I will point out that last on take one, I just said a very special guest, just us, and you interpreted this as you being demoted as a host. So this whole narrative has been spun out entirely separately.
No, in the last take, you actually said a very special guest, Cristina.
No, I said us. You invented we have it on tape. We can go back and listen.
Maybe instead of burnout, we should talk about gaps in communication.
Yes.
What somebody says and what the other person hears.
Yes, and we can find out what stories we fill in when we think we hear something.
Which brings us back to an episode we did a couple of weeks ago that I think it's coming out soon on what baggage are we bringing to conversations?
Yeah, what do we bring to a conversation?
Exactly.
And that's actually
I hear
awesome
us,
cases.
and I interpret Cristina. And I hear me. Somebody says us, and I hear you.
Which
you are not
interestingly
wanted.
means us is just you. So I'm excluded in the us in this. Now how the turntables have turned.
Okay. This is a whole new take on burnout.
And a whole new take on this intro.
Yes. So back to burnout.
So talking about burnout, why did we want to talk about burnout? Because everybody's talking about burnout, because everybody is quietly or overtly burning out. I don't know if you've been on LinkedIn lately, but it all reads like a subtle cry for help.
Yes. It's kind of funny how attention goes where the feelings are. And so the whole burnout thing is like, that's how we're all feeling. So we're going to keep talking about it and see if we can feel better by talking about it. And somehow that's not helping. So we're burning out even talking about it. And we're definitely burning out reading about it because now it's all around me. It's not just me, which it's one of those weird things because you kind of feel better when it's not just you. You don't think that you're faulty.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're like, oh, wait, this is actually a lot worse if it's everybody. Because then who's going to make the changes to end this?
Yeah, I was actually just reading an interesting book about labor movements that came out about the Great Depression. A lot of people kind of assume like there's the Great Depression, lots of people were unemployed, and thus there was lots of like strikes, and that's when we started to take unemployment more seriously. And that's somewhat true, but it's such a part of our culture as Americans to be this like rugged self-dependent, rugged individualist, that it actually was about a year and a half after most people had like lost jobs. There was severe unemployment everywhere, but people had been just basically like leaning on communities and doing anything they could to not actually like register as unemployed because there was an especially large stigma then about it. And so it actually took a year and a half, and for people to start to realize that so many people were experiencing it, that it was a system problem. And I get the feeling that there's a good parallel with that in burnout, because I think that that's kind of where we've been. We've been burning out for a while, I think, as people, and now it's being shared more. And I think it's there's things that are happening all to everybody all at once, where now suddenly it's more of a collective one instead of certain industries or certain companies being the only indicators of burnout, just a little bit at a time that kind of ebbs and flows. Now there's a big ebb.
Yes, it's no longer just investment bankers and consultants.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody, all the time, everywhere.
Yes, everyone, everywhere, all the time, burning out, which
Yes.
is going to be the title of this episode.
Yes.
Everything burning out all at once, like that movie, Everything All the
Yes.
Time, Everywhere.
Which I
whatever.
heard it's very good, but I haven't watched it yet. The title is it's overwhelming.
The
honestly.
movie's overwhelming. It's a good movie. It's crazy.
That's why I've been resistant, because I'm like, I don't need more overwhelming stuff. I need calm.
Oh, it's
Like, I'm starting
not
to
calm
just turn my
in any
TV
way,
on.
shape, or form.
Yes. I'm starting to turn my TV on and then not do anything, not select a channel, not do anything. And it's kind of nice, because then this like really calm spa music gets turned on, and these like really nice sceneries of water, like very calm waves hitting the beach, and then, birds chirping on top of mountains. And I'm like, this is actually much better than watching TV.
Yeah.
This is good.
And now the people tuning into your smart TV through the CIA are like, man, we got to update Christina's file. She's burnt out. She's not even using her TV. She's just staring at the spa music loading screen. Screensaver.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I do think that if the CIA knows what I'm doing, it makes me feel very special. And it's like, I must matter, and I must be doing something that's worthy of being noticed.
I think between this and assuming that you've been left out as a host by saying that we're guests, like maybe there's something to this, and that is a preview of our next episode on community.
Yes. It's okay that I'm left out as a host, because the CIA knows what I'm doing.
I don't feel lonely. I'm being spied on.
Exactly. It explains that weird feeling of being watched when you're sleeping and realizing your cat is actually in a different floor.
Yeah, the CIA, my CIA file just says, this guy snores. We should probably send him to a doctor.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like the doctors that you reached out to are facing burnout too, because they ended up sending you to a dentist.
Yeah, I clicked a sleep specialist and ended up getting a text about a cleaning and an x-ray. And I was like, excuse me?
In a different location.
Yeah,
in a different office, in a different practice. Something is not working well.
Our pet theory on this is that there's a bad AI bot linked in here, and that I think is actually one of the reasons that we have such a massive wave of burnout currently, because there's a lot of here's I'm gonna just break down a little bit of what the current research on burnout is. There's Cristina Maslach, who's one of the main people who has researched burnout and has created the Maslach burnout inventory, which is the usual way people kind of review their companies for burnout. Says that the key dimensions are emotional exhaustion, like feeling overextended or really drained. Depersonalization / cynicism, feeling detached or negative and callous about work, colleagues, clients.
2 for 2 for so far. So
yeah. What colleagues are you talking about? And finally,
nobody in this room.
Yeah, the hosts. We're both irritated at the hosts. I don't know who they are, but grr. And finally, reduced personal accomplishment or inefficacy, feeling incompetent or not unable to be productive. And I think AI actually pushes into all of these, because I think that people are definitely feeling overextended because they feel like they either have to use AI while there's no clear use cases being put out, or they feel like they're in danger of being replaced by AI, which is just driving a huge cycle of emotional worry. You're just constantly concerned that any day might be the last day. We've heard this from leaders. We've heard this from people just everywhere in organizations. There's this pervasive fear of, I don't know how many months I have left. And I'm watching just LinkedIn posts of people burnt out who don't have jobs because they're trying to find a job, and it takes months and months sometimes to land anything. And which is also driving, I think, cynicism. It's hard to feel pretty positive about things when there's this push for AI while simultaneously this undercurrent of AI is going to replace you and we're going to try and kick you out the door. So I think AI might be driving some of this wave of burnout.
I think so. It's a whole new definition of you're succeeding at work when you work yourself out of your job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they meant be kicked out of your job. Like, I think it means like, oh, now you can learn new things and do other things and be promoted or, move to a different department and, keep growing. Like, I think it used to be a good thing to strive for because it meant constant learning and growth and new opportunities. Now it's like, maybe I don't want to work myself out of my own job because I'm going to lose my job.
Yeah. And if I work
Even
myself
if
out
I
of this
don't
job,
work
there's not
myself
a
out of my
next
job,
thing
I'm
to
going to
go
lose my
to.
job.
There's just, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to feel good about the world and to keep showing up. There's a lot of people who have talked about how bleak it is to be essentially training bots that are doing their jobs, knowing that the goal is just to have them replaced. And I think your point stands in both ways. First, that I do think people do feel like there's not something to step into, but it's also kind of sad that we didn't treat this like something where we could have just grown people that way. IKEA did it. We talked about
IKEA
that
did
on
it.
a recent episode.
Yes.
They knew that they could replace most of their customer support with AI. So instead of throwing out the people, they trained them as interior designers, and they added an extra €1 billion in revenue because of this interior design service that they started to offer.
Yes.
Like, that's exactly
There's
what you could
ways.
do.
Yes.
Everybody talks about
And my
growth all
guess
the
is that
time, but
there's less
apparently not
burnout at
people.
IKEA.
Yes.
Well, since we're
I
both
bet
getting
that one
fired as
will.
hosts, maybe I'll go work at IKEA.
Yeah, we're going to train some bots that do this podcast for us because there's nothing that says uncover the human quite like two bots having an almost nonsense conversation. It's way better to have two humans having an almost nonsense conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say the nonsense conversation is happening no matter what. And no, this is not a call out to our friend Sterling. It's not that type of no. It's not that type of no matter what. Yes. The very confusing type of no matter what.
Well, I've lost the thread. Burnout.
Burnout. We should add to the list that you just provided. Losing the thread every 3 seconds is a sign of burnout.
Yes, I think the inability to keep the focus is probably indicative of this, which again is part of the I think increased by AI. We've seen it happen in companies long before AI. There's kind of this hectic. Everybody's got to be moving, even though there's not always clarity on where you should be moving or how you should be moving. Just get things done, and then later we'll find out that none of them match up, and we have a lot of rework to do. But that's okay because then we can keep busy on that. And there has been that busyness, and I think AI has expanded that
busyness.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, unnecessary busyness.
Yeah, unnecessary busyness.
Ambiguous busyness. Like it's like do things, but is it doing what we need? Do we like it? Do we not like it? Is this okay? But no, not a lot of answers. Plenty of questions.
Well, given that your snoring appointment got rerouted to a dentist cleaning 40 miles away from where you live, my guess it's not doing what we're hoping it does.
Yeah. I mean, the companies are definitely finding that out the hard way. But at least they destroyed trust on the way. And at least they fired a bunch of people unnecessarily. Yes. So at least they added a layer of precarity to the economy. We don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, exactly. Which is great because now that we start reading that companies are hiring people back because, oh, wait, it's not success formula to eliminate the humans. This is not quite working well, which could have taken maybe a day of planning to figure that out. But besides that, it's big I told you so. It's not working out. So whether it's because it's more expensive to buy tokens than to actually have engineers do the work, or whatever other reasons, or customers are unhappy, so you're losing customers, or now there's a bunch of people that have no money, so nobody's buying your products and services. Whichever angle of, we need to hire people back thing, it's now going to take, my guess is a good 5 to 10 years to rebuild that trust. So at least it was worth it.
Well, that's assuming that they're going to focus on building trust. And that's one thing I feel like I have not seen companies do regularly is actually invest in the trust of trust building exercises. There's just a lot of this feeling of everybody can be transient, and that actually shakes down a couple of the different angles that people tend to digest for identifying workout. Is there excessive workload? In this transience, there's always some kind of transition. Somebody's in or out, and so you're figuring out who new to work with. There's also just changes because companies executives get bored and just rearrange the company. At one point, they make the changes. There's this lack of reward, inadequate financial or social recognition is what they identify it as, and wages have been stagnating for 50 years in the middle of otherwise growth. So we're reaching breaking points there. There's a lack of autonomy, feeling like we don't get to choose whether we do AI or not. There's so many things that are just adding to burnout currently.
Yes.
Interestingly, the Cristina Maslach talks a lot about it being an organizational issue. This is something that happens as a workplace, not a personal place. So we often say like, oh, that person's burnt out. They best go watch their TV spa screen for a few hours. But the research suggests it's actually a system issue, which is, I think, for anybody who is experiencing it, they know it. It's just always like leaders and executives who seem somehow surprised by this. Like, oh, what?
We created this? Yes, you did. We could have prevented it.
And over again.
Absolutely. Again, go back to IKEA. There are other ways to do things and still make a shitload of money.
Yes.
For your big annual bonus.
Yes. Yes, go prove that you added value, not that you just cut some costs.
Yes. I do actually really love the fact that China has made it illegal to fire people.
Purely for AI, yeah. Yeah, you can't just reduce based on AI. I mean, I'd be interested to see how they can enforce that, but it's China. They're pretty controlled. They could probably figure that out. It's not a bad policy, though. The policy is about like, hey, you have to retrain and rework, which that's a good economic move. We just somehow don't see people as part of the economy here. Somehow the economy is just separate from this.
Yeah, somehow the economy is going to continue without people being part of it.
Yeah, it's a recipe for success, I'm sure.
Yes. Well, it would be nice if sure, if you want to try it out. Can you go to Mars maybe to try it out?
Yeah. See if you can get economy spinning up when there's no people. If you don't want the humans to be part of the economy, then just go where humans don't exist and do it there. Yeah, and I will be the first to volunteer Elon Musk to go set up a moon base. He can go start it.
Yes, exactly. Maybe we can do a GoFundMe for a whole group of people that can go try this out. Why go through the transition? I mean, that's just a waste of energy and time. Why try to do this where you have humans? So now, exactly. So now you have to go through the whole thing of eliminating the humans, which is what you don't want. You don't want the humans around. Then go somewhere where there are no humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe try to do it with penguins in Antarctica. Or penguins in Antarctica or Arctica? I can't remember.
Antarctica.
Okay. Maybe try with the penguins. I'm pretty sure they'll slap you in the face too. But go where the humans don't exist. Bottom of the sea. There you go.
The penguins don't deserve that.
No, well, the penguins won't stand for that. And the penguins will call their orcas and polar bear friends, and
they're already sick of the odds. So
exactly, and figure things out pretty quickly. Or the bottom of the sea, the bottom of the ocean, which is also a great place for data centers because of all the heat that they need. So you can just build entire cities under the sea with no humans and data centers.
Yeah. That's where you keep all your data centers super safe.
Yes. Meantime, the humans on Earth will actually be less burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that organizational, not personal hits not only for the company, but now it's hitting for like the global economy as an organization / globalization as organization. This is a time where everybody's experiencing this in a giant systemic way, globally systemic way.
Yes.
And we are still like, I don't know how long it's going to take before people are like, yeah, no, I'm upset about this and we're going to have to change this. I mean, I think people are upset, but we seem to have lost the fact that we do have some say in this. We do have some choice in this.
Yes. I go back to French Revolution. I mean, there is a reason why the people revolted the way they did.
Yeah. And they continue to do it. They stand up for everything. And they burn down Paris for every announcement they don't like, which, kudos. You're really working it out. figured it out. There's
Yes.
lots of pictures I've enjoyed of people like just still enjoying their coffees and cigarettes on a coffee with a like literal burning dumpster fire in the background because that's just what's happening today.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And to be clear, we're not anti-AI. We use AI tools.
Yeah, it doesn't
Probably
have to
more than
be-
we should.
Yeah.
We're not anti-AI. We're anti-inhuman AI.
Yeah, 100%.
We're anti-leaving the humans behind and thinking that that's the solution because life should be about how much wealth I collect.
Yes. You individually rather than just like also what good is it going anyway? I'm not going to go on that soapbox.
Yes.
But
back to Burnout.
Yeah. The AI one, I agree. Like it's AI isn't it's not what's replacing jobs. Like people like AI is replacing jobs. No, people are choosing to replace people with AI.
Yes,
Somebody is
yes.
making that choice. It's not just
Yes.
and then acting like it's
Yes.
some natural market force, which there's magic natural market force. There's choices that are made, and we can make different choices. So there
Yes.
are. There's a huge frustration in that I feel personally about this. Like, no, it's not. Like AI could be useful, and there's lots of things it can be used for. I think there's significant copyright issues, and we definitely have environmental
Yes.
concerns that should be much more seriously
Yes.
considered, and data security, just to name a
Yes.
few. There's definitely a lot of things that are,
Hey,
that
the
are
CIA
issues
is already
with it.
watching me listen to spa music on my
Yeah.
TV, so
Yeah. So you're not worried about the data privacy.
I'm not worried about the privacy of data.
But those are all legit concerns. But the choice to use AI and replace people with AI is a human one. And we don't need to be making it. And we are making a severe human cost by making that choice. It's not that AI is inevitable. We could find ways to use it to help ourselves. And we could be making sure that it doesn't destroy our environment on the way through.
Yes.
But we're doing neither of those things. We're replacing people and destroying our environment. It's very cool. Great choices.
Go somewhere else to do this.
Try it on the moon.
Try it on Venus. You won't last
Yeah.
long because it's a little too hot.
just a little bit. It's like 800 degrees.
Yeah. But I'm sure you can figure that out too.
Yeah.
With all the
If
money
only.
that you've saved from eliminating humans and tanking the economy for everybody involved. So back to Burnout. Talk about burning Venus.
Yeah.
So Burnout.
So we're definitely highlighting the second pillar here, the depersonalization / cynicism. We've definitely hit that one.
Yes.
So let's talk about one of the things that we go back to a lot, and this is again not to say that it's an individual thing because it's not. It's a systemic thing, and you should think about the systemic things.
Yep.
But there are two things that we like to really lean on when we go help ourselves as well as other organizations address burnout, and that is internally for personal things, values. Understanding whether there's conflicts between your personal ethics and organizational practices. Is there something that you believe in that you can't honor here or feels particularly suppressed where you're at? That will also just lead to burnout at the more, to use the influencer language, at the more spiritual level, in that it's your more, what's leaning towards a purpose that you feel good about or not. If it starts to lean too far away, it can severely add to burnout, mental fatigue, emotional exhaustion. And there are so many ways in which we've seen little ethical compromises that build up to large ethical compromises happening within companies. So even if it's not a big core value, it can just be the feeling of, it's not right to do that. That's not right to do. Ooh, this is a little dangerous. Which helps break psychological safety, helps like all the other things that go trash culture and add to burnout.
Yeah. Here's a way to know if it doesn't feel right before you do it. That's probably been around since, well, the birth of men, of humans, is, would you like that to be done to you? If your answer is no, or if your answer, I'm going to go all the way. If your answer is not, heck yes, how can I help you do that to me? That's not the right thing to do.
Yes. Yeah. And if you don't
You don't
have,
need to be an ethics professor. That's your measure right there.
That also dovetails right into everything we have to talk about and change. When people are like, why are people resisting change? Like, have you given them anything to hold on to? Do they want to be part of this? Is there a reason they should go through the hardship, or is it just hardship that on the other side of will be more hardship?
Yes. Are you having a good time? Because you're probably not having a good time. So maybe do it differently.
Yes. That's a great one. So the idea of empathy coaching, opening space, building those relationships, and understanding your own personal set of values and what you want to live by, all great tools, and helping share those and model those All great ways to help combat burnout by creating a more safe space, a more ethical space, a more ties to values space, and something where people feel like they can actually share a better community and a better set of relationships and connectedness.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's
Indeed.
angle one. And angle
That's one.
two is that we tend to go to because it's a fun one and it helps people jump into this kind of stuff much easier. Is the working genius, which we've talked about many times.
Yes.
We use that assessment with teams so that they can understand what parts of work for every individual do they really enjoy, what do they gravitate towards, what are they drained by, and how can they split more evenly amongst the team so that everybody gets a piece of their own fulfillment and is covered when they're falling too far into frustrations. That's another great team/department tool for organizing to try and prevent burnout and to try and keep up with flow states rather than draining states.
Yeah, I was just talking to a client with whom we've worked. Clearly, they were a client, so we worked with them. But
clients that we thought about.
Imaginary
clients that I dreamed having one time. No, this was a real experience.
Real experience. An actual client of ours that we worked with. Because they're a client. We try to at least.
We like to self-define.
Value. I will get to the point. But we've done Working Genius with them multiple times in various ways through team restructures, and they're still, while we're currently working with them directly right now, they're still using that on a daily basis. And she was sharing how useful it's been when there seems to be miscommunication with each other and with their direct manager, to actually look back at the geniuses in the room and figure out we're not speaking the same language because we're getting a lot of a lot of wonder from our boss. But we're all at the end of the descent. We're all in the implementation phase. And so we are having a hard time connecting. And I don't know if this was intentional or unintentional, but they are now able to have a person in between that it's actually discernment and galvanizing, and has wonder and tenacity as competencies. So I ended up sending this huge text message to this former client saying oh my God, how's that working out? Because from a Working Genius perspective, from a team perspective, she's actually a perfect bridge between the VP and the rest of the team, because she's in that phase that was missing. And also with wonder in her competency, she can actually connect with the wonder of the VP, which is where the VP lives. It's her genius, so that's where she lives most of the time without getting drained. And because she has also tenacity as a competency, she can understand what everybody is dealing with in the weeds without burning out. So it was a very fascinating.
Yeah. That's a great example. That's exactly how that's a great use of both values as well as personal interest as well. Those are good ways to fight that deep personalization and cynicism. That's a good way to lean on other people and build that community, have more empathy for people so that you can more easily follow that "would I do this to myself" rule.
Yes.
And a way to spread out the workload so it doesn't feel excessive, because doing the things that you enjoy doing doesn't feel as draining. You might eventually get more tired, but it's much more filling than it is draining. And so you can do those tasks for longer, and you can share the load, and everybody can get through the things they're supposed to get through without it burning them out. So those would be the things I'd lean on if I was to say what are the first steps if you're feeling burnt out. And I think I don't know, about 97% of people are feeling burnt out at this point. So
I was
worth
you
thinking
probably
about.
assume that everybody is. So
yeah. There's 3% who are not yet born.
I'm pretty sure they're burnt out.
No, I'm just
they
kidding.
Get
They're
that
burnt
from
out.
the mothers.
It comes right
They
into
get that
them.
from it's coming through. Believe me, it's definitely coming through. Well,
the stress markers are there.
Yeah, and the breakdown of community is a big piece of burnout, and whether it's Working Genius or other ways to actually all be in the same place and even say it out loud and realize you're not alone can help, because it counteracts the breakdown of community. One of the worst pieces is when you don't know, when you're burnt out or feeling any type of emotions and you think it's you and you're alone. and it's not, there's nobody else feeling the same way. So I may feel burnt out, but look at the other 8 billion people in the world. Like, they're totally fine. What's wrong with me? And
they're not fine.
They're not fine. And so given that we've just established that if it's not 100%, it's very close to 100% people right now are burnt out for very different reasons. Let's come together and actually help each other.
Yes.
And again, French Revolution style, but help each other.
Yes. Yes. We have to redesign pieces of the system so we don't have a system creating burnout. If you could individually help recover from burnout, but then step back into a system that creates burnout, it's a temporary measure.
Yes.
We have to address some of these things at the root systemic cause. And that's one thing that we are now offering. We're doing conversations that we're calling Siamo on the DL, which we are making stand for dialogues and leadership, which is a place for leaders to get together and talk about some of the struggles. It can be difficult to do that as leaders, and it can be difficult to find places to kind of share these thoughts. And I don't mean leaders as in like you have a title, a person of title. I just mean leaders who have influence over other people. Leaders in that people who want to make sure that they're being proactive with themselves, with their work, etc., and who would like to just be able to get help from other people, and it feels like you don't have that within the workplace, because it's hard to find that within peers sometimes. It's hard to find that if there isn't the psychological safety. So we're hosting those once a month. Anybody can drop in for however long. So feel free to check that out on our website, wearesiamo.com.
Yeah. And look for the speakeasy graphic.
Yes.
It's going to be a little bit like that. It is usually in the morning, but you never know. I mean, it could also be given time zones. It could also be 8 o'clock at night for somebody.
Yeah, depends on where you are.
Bring your favorite beverage to the speakeasy, to Siamo on the DL. We won't judge. And it could even be a mug, which I used to have a mug that said, "I have wine in here." I wonder what happened to it. Or "I don't have wine in here." I can't remember.
This is definitely not wine.
It's definitely not wine, but I wonder what happened to that mug. Now I have to go find it.
Memory loss, the final symptom of burnout.
That's just, that's a given.
So one thing we'd encourage is share that with others. Feel free to reach out to us if you have good strategies you've come to for fighting burnouts, or if you're just feeling it yourself. We know that lots of people out there are feeling it. We don't have to be alone in this, and we can design a better future together.
Yes. Good luck. And seriously, LGTVs, spa music, nice. And I'm not a beach person, but even that helps me to just see the water, just hit the beach, the waves, very calming waves.
Yeah, I prefer the 30-second long Samsung washer ending song. Washer cycle ending. It's absurd. I don't know why they programmed that. It's obscene.
I thought I had a Samsung, but mine is too old. It doesn't have.
Maybe it's LG. I can't remember. It's something.
It has a very loud buzz. It's not very calming.
A nice nuclear buzz. Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't do a lot for calm. So yes, happy to share. I can record and even send that if that will help your burnout. Not the buzzing. The LG.
The LGTV. That sounds much nicer.
Spa music. Yes.
So keep on keeping on. Good luck with burnout.
Good luck. We'll be here burning out. Actually, we won't because we just fired ourselves. Alex fired both of us.
This is a wild interpretation of these events. But when we find who the hosts are, we'll have a new episode.
Yes. Good luck.